warm welcome to this special edition of the Feminine Way podcast. So, for everyone listening or even looking at us, or both, very warm welcome. My name is Humita Premila for the ones who don't know me. And this morning I'm going to have a chat with a beautiful, beautiful woman. And we're going to speak about life, but a little bit more into a particular topic, and that's womanhood. How to be a woman. I mean, let's be honest, it's a challenge sometimes, and it is always nice, and it helped me in my journey and along the way to listen to others, to find out that I'm not the only one, because most of the times I still think that I'm the only one struggling with it, or like, hey, you're 46. I mean, you should know everything by now. And, all these crazy thoughts you have. And it's so good to have a little chit chat with another beautiful soul, and things are opening up again. It's not so bad as it seems in this beautiful head up there. So this is what you can expect. You can expect a chat about our struggles, but also about our gains and how we deal with it during the day. You get to know Jen a little bit more. I love when she introduces herself. She just did this morning because I asked her what was the meaning of her company name. And just before this chat, she was explaining to me, and she has a really beautiful way of speaking, and English is her native tongue, and I always admire that. I love it's like they sing when they speak. Um, and we're gonna speak about my mission, my dream coming true, and the event coming up. So a lot to talk about. Hey, Jen.
Hi, thank you for having me. So happy to be here.
Thank you for making it.
Mm.
Hey, babe, where in the world are you?
I'm in the Netherlands in a very small village called Varik.
Of
900,
course.
900 people. Yep. I moved here about a year ago from the US.
Maybe you want to start with sharing that story. I mean, I introduced you the other way to my women group, remember? And I needed to share that because I think it's so fucking bold and brave what you did.
Yeah. It's par for the course for me. I'm a wild child for sure. Boundless, wild and free, brave to the core. But I moved here about a year ago for love. So I left this beautiful, beautiful life that I had curated, beautiful friends that lived down the street from me that I saw all the time, best friends, the mountains, which is my soul's home. I was living this little cottage by a river, like ideal. And I had worked very hard for this life. But I fell in love, and what more is there? So I fell in love with a beautiful Dutch man, and we dated long distance for I think it was 2 years. And then I took the plunge and moved here, and it's been a wild ride. And I'm definitely still grieving my old life. It's it's moved out quite a bit, and the grief is way more subtle, but it took a pretty solid year to get to the place where I feel okay with my decision.
So just to make it clear for everyone who's watching, she moved for love with a Dutch fireman into a village with 900 citizens.
Yeah, I'm a New York City girl.
And she's a New York City girl. I mean, this is pretty brave and courageous. But to experience love, I remember you said in one of our chats, like, if I ever want to experience love, then this is the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one. How could I choose my life like in that way over experiencing like the profound, explosive, amazing, perfect, horrible, all the duality, all the things that true like partnership and love is. I could never not choose that.
But just this one sentence you just said, like quickly, he is the one.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
most powerful thing. That, I mean, not everyone can experience that in this lifetime. That you can say, he is the one.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it with him.
Yeah.
Amazing. So it's
Thanks.
been a year now, a little bit more than a year.
It's been a little bit more than a year. October was a year.
I'm so happy that you're here.
We're in year two. That feels like a big thing. It's like that first year in kind of any big thing that you're doing, like, you cross into year two and you're like, okay, okay. All right. Year two, it's a different ball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also said you feel different. You feel more certain. It's more
Really
landing.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, babe, you have love.
Do I
You
have love?
you have love. You
Oh, I
have
have love. Yes.
experience love. You have your love. Your and building up in a new country, and I mean, you said you had your friends, you had your women, you had your tribe, your community. How is your life now? How are you in togetherness with women? Are you a girly type, like or is it easy for you to be around women? I mean, you
This has
had a
been, yeah,
yeah.
this has been a long and winding road for me. My dad worked for the military, and so we moved all the time. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in a couple of weeks, and I have moved over 30 times in my life.
Wow.
So part of this is self-inflicted. For a long time, it was definitely like a trauma response. If I would just disappear and leave and like move across the country or whatever, neighborhoods in New York and all sorts of stuff. But my parents moved us all the time through school. So every 2 to 3 years I moved. So I was constantly the new girl. And I've always looked at it as a blessing. The world is my home. I'm comfortable, very comfortable being alone, very comfortable with myself. I'm comfortable talking to people and meeting new people. But what it like the downside, there's always two sides. And the negative side of that was like I never had girlfriends for very long. So I would make really close girlfriends, and then a year or two later, we'd be out of there. So I noticed what that brought up for me, especially in my like late 20s, early 30s, was I craved that like girly girl slumber party vibe, and I never had it. But when you're in your 30s, it doesn't work like that anymore. You're not children. And so I really attracted women who were very codependent on me and that sort of relationship, which I don't do well with, being like a rebel. You like become like attached to me and I'm like, ah! So I had to really like work through these feelings of like, okay, I never had that kind of girl relationship. Like I'd have it for a little while and then it was removed. So I never went through like these real friendship cycles and these friendship arcs. And I didn't understand that friendships come and go, friendships grow and change, friendships leave. And because I never had that, I would always leave and I would never have to experience like the downside of how girl friendships change. And then on top of that, I'm not a very girly girl. Like I'm definitely a tomboy, always have been. And so as I've gotten older, it's gotten harder for me to make really good girlfriends. But the ones I do make are like literal soul connections. And so I'm okay with that. I've had times in my life where I have had bigger groups, and that's really fun. But I'm like a two or three friend kind of person. And it took me a long time to be okay with that.
So
But now I am, and it feels really good.
what was the shift for you? I mean, I hear different experiences and that there was a lot of growth for you in this in connecting with women. What did you do yourself in order to attract those two, three souls who basically fill up your heart?
Yeah. In my mid 30s, I went through like my biggest dark night of the soul, and two of my friends dropped off. And it was absolutely heartbreaking. And they were long-term friends, like 15, 16-year friends. And I sincerely hope that we make our way back to each other again. But this was the first like big time friend heartbreak I had. And it was on top of like a breakup. So that kind of heartbreak, although it wasn't really a heartbreak, it was more of a life break. Um, and so I think I just did some soul searching then and just realized that I hadn't maybe been as true and honest with who I was. And therefore, these friendships grew so vast. The distance was so vast because perhaps I hadn't been as upfront with where I was growing and what I needed from a friendship. And I was also not that comfortable with talking about my needs and what didn't feel good in the friendship or the relationship in general. And this extended, of course, to clients and partnership and across the board, family, like with my mom. Um, and so I just did a lot of work around my honesty, my personal honesty. And this is a big thing I teach is like deep, brutal honesty with ourselves, which is a place that most people, especially women, will not go. And it's one of the secrets. It's one of the secrets to knowing who you are. And so, therefore, who's for you.
That's a very big one. Honesty, speaking your truth.
Yeah. First to
Speaking,
yourself. You got to be able to do it to yourself. So many people are like, I'm speaking my truth. It's like, just talk to yourself first. Talk to
yeah,
yourself for a little bit first about that truth. Yeah.
speaking your truth and then start to living your truth. And from there you move.
Yeah.
That's really, really a big one.
Yeah.
And it has all to do with where are you in life and which stories do you tell yourself,
Yeah.
and which story you still tell yourself when you're just not happy and you're not, it's not what you want, but you make a story around it to basically make it up for yourself. No?
Yeah.
Hey, and you say this is also what you bring out. This is what you bring out to the world. Um, is it, you learn women to speak your truth?
Yes, my work is all internally focused. I believe that everything happens in here and then everything happens out here. So I do all of my work is in internal. You can come to me with an external process and we're going to go right inside because that's where it's manifesting from or stemming from. So a lot of my work is first teaching how to self-source your own safety because a lot of us don't feel safe. And if we don't feel safe, we can't be honest with ourselves. We just continuously hide and lie to ourselves, usually subconsciously. So we start there and then we move into how much of your truth can you hold? Okay, and now how much of your truth can you hold? And we clear other people's energies, we clear cultural, societal, bloodline, lineage energies. We're constantly working to become more current with ourselves. Okay, and now how much of your own truth can you hold? And what happens, I'm sure you have found this because you do similar stuff. I don't need to tell you what my truth is. I've already told you just when I walk in the room. You know, there doesn't need to be a lot of explanation. I don't need to speak my truth.
You are your truth.
I am my truth.
You embody your truth,
Yeah.
and then things are going to work out for you. You find your
Yeah.
love. And what happened to you? You find the love of your life. You find your job. Money comes in. Your health becomes
Yeah.
better because you start to embody your truth, living your truth.
Yeah. And I attract beautiful people like you into my life. And like it just,
Yeah.
everything kind of flows from there and it goes into everything, even boundaries. I don't really need to talk about my boundaries.
No, no, that's exactly what it is. Oh, this is a really interesting one. You hear a lot of people, boundaries is like a word, it just came like in 2020 or 21, everyone started to speak about boundaries in every workshop. And I was like, where does this come from?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, if you look at your life and you're not happy because things are not flowing or things are not working out or the man is not there yet or you're longing for like this girlfriend group, or then most of the times it has to do with how truthful you're living.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other part of it, so it was that, and then it was allowing my system. I teach a lot about this too. I say you're human for a reason. We live on planet Earth. We deal with the construct of time and other people having to get into their position before we can hook up with them, not just sexually, but like, meet people. And so another big part of my process was just like a deep trust and a deep knowing that it takes time for the external to reflect the internal and to be okay with the fact that it takes time and to be okay with the fact that I'm human. I think a lot of us are in resistance to even being human, which is like a crazy thing to say. But I think deep down, a lot of people, especially soulful people, old souls, highly sensitives, are like, I don't actually want to be human and I don't like what this entails, like what is required of me.
Yeah.
Um, so I've done a lot of
Subconsciously,
work with that.
they're struggling with that, and
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of them don't even know that.
No, because what a crazy thing to say is like, you're in resistance to being human. It's like, yeah, but I am a human. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like deep down in there and like in the astral or whatever in these other realms, like you're in this like resistance to, and I definitely was definitely in resistance to being human.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. And I'm sure the ones who feel that get that right away. Get that right away. Yeah, yeah. And this timeline work. It also is something we're luckily we can speak about it more openly. So you can choose any reality in the quantum field, and you can instantly change your life. This is the work we do. This is what we bring out there. Yet the body needs to adapt, needs a little bit time. This is a different world. So that's very beautiful that you point that out. And again, for the ones who are ready for that, they will get it. And I'm so happy and honored that soon I can give you a stage to bring this across to bigger audience. And hopefully hundreds of women will be in front of you listening to you, because I think what you bring into the world together with your own experience, because you mastered it yourself. It's not something you have learned. I mean, you've been a super successful architect back in New York, and you've done so many things, and you financially you have everything in order. And this is such a big longing for us women, and how you did it. We want to learn from you. So Feminar is coming up on the 9th and the 10th of March, just one day after Women's Day. And you will speak a bit more in there. What can women expect? What can they take home after they're there? They're sitting in front of you, they can see you, they can hug you. So what are the benefits when they come?
Well, live energy is always the most potent, in my opinion. And we can do our best to like you and I have talked about this a million times. Like we can do our best to try to show who we are online, but it clicks way more deeply when you're in somebody's actual presence. So there's that. There's the feeling of community and the feeling of doing this work in community. I'm positive you felt this like with all your Kundalini stuff is like when you do stuff and everybody's doing their version of the same thing, it's so powerful and it's so much deeper often than when you do it by yourself, especially when you're first starting the work. So there's this potency and this exponentialized like potentiality in doing work in a group. And then, yeah, it's going to be a really great, I'm going to do a teaching that might blow people's minds. And then we're going to do an active energy work. So I'm going to run you through stuff that I do literally every day with myself to clear out other people's energy and become more of myself and therefore more current with myself and therefore more aligned with the things that are meant for me, because a lot of us are manifesting and like going through the world under layers and layers of guilt and shame and embarrassment and like it should be this way, and control and pressure and punishment and all these things. And so we get that out of the way so that we're more of us and therefore projecting out into the world who we actually are so that then life can feed us and then it becomes this beautiful circle. Does that make sense?
I like that. Yeah, that does. And what I like about it, and for you to know, it's gonna be wisdom she shares to swallow and to just, get that gift from her. But it's also more so an activation, an experience. Like right away, you can basically work with it. And what you said, Jen, and this is one of the most valuable things, is you are together with a group of 100 women, all experiencing the same, all tapping into this magnetic field we're creating over a weekend. And another benefit is these are all women on the same path. So all potential girlfriends.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
what I've seen over the years, I mean, I'm out there for more than 15 years now. I have friends all over the world, and you know where they come from? From events like this. I make lifelong, lifetime friends because we're in there together and we're on a journey of 2 days, experiencing, learning, relaxing, recharging, rejuvenating. And at the end, you just feel you know each other for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And we are creating a movement next to it. And that's the feminine way movement. And you know quite a lot about it already. And we want to bring, because I am 100% convinced if we become more of us, it's not really about changing or becoming someone else, but becoming more of ourselves, more confident, more playful, more choosing us, we are a huge benefit for the world. It's exactly what the world needs. And by attending and being together for 48 hours like that, we have this positivity and love, which has a ripple effect into the world.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, babe, just before we're gonna close this lovely chat I had this morning, let's name 3 things, 3 tools, or 3 short tips you use to stay in your power, because you're a living example, finding the love of your life, leaving everything behind to live in a 900 people little village and having it financially in order. So these are 3 beautiful aspects which makes you so extraordinary. You have many more things, but can you give them like 3 thingies take with them?
Okay. The first one is you are human for a reason. So I said this a little bit earlier. You're human for a reason. You're here for a reason. Let's find that reason. So find that reason. And then this is the whole purpose of my company. I think the whole purpose of yours, the whole purpose of Feminar is like live your purpose. And here's some tools on how to live your purpose. So that's the
Exactly.
first one. It's like you're human for a reason and everybody else is also human for a reason. And we're not human for a reason for the same reason.
Yeah.
So,
And we did not prepare this. I just
no,
asked for this on the spot. So
yeah, well, I'm
that's what
thinking.
I'm doing.
Okay, so that's the first one. And then the second one is to sit in a meditative state, i.e., just sit quietly with yourself and just allow yourself to be with yourself. So it's not prayer, it's not meditation, it's not visualization. It's literally just sitting quietly with yourself and turning off the brain and just feeling. So this is a huge part of the work I do. This is what we'll be doing at Feminar is you just allow the waves of emotion to be waves to move. And that's part of being human for a reason. These are all connected. And do that every single day. And do it as many times a day as you feel that you need to stay here. So then the third one is to work to stay in your body. So many of us just poof, pop out and escape and aren't actually in our body. And I think this is a really big one for women for lots of reasons, past life reasons, bloodline reasons. A lot of us feel really unsafe. And I know for a lot of my life, I was not in my body. I don't remember my childhood at all. And nothing even that traumatic happened. I just was like really misunderstood. And that was enough to just like shoot me out. Um, so the third thing is to stay in your body. And so there's lots of ways you can look on YouTube. You can lots of different ways to stay in your body. You can like touch your legs, touch your chest and heart. But a big one is just to bring yourself back all the time, like as many times as you can a day. Just can you feel the chair underneath your butt? Can you feel yourself walking? Can you feel yourself breathing? Like, are you here? Are you here? Are you here? And this also helps to clear out other people's stuff and make more room and bring you back to yourself and invite more of you home. And from this place, like everything grows.
Wow. You're very good in spontaneous questions. I love it.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing this across. Thank you for giving this valuable tips and tools to everyone listening. I really appreciate you giving so much value. Thank you. If you feel like, hey, who is this woman? March 9 and 10, Feminar in Amsterdam. Beautiful, beautiful location with the sweetest people. Come and check it out. Thank you for your time again.
Thank you for having me.